Hey, what's going on, everybody? Leigh Dickey here, and welcome to the debut of Yo Nostalgia, your pop culture joyride, where I look at everything pop culture from the last 50 to 60 years. If it happened in pop culture and made enough of an impact to become part of the everyday fabric of our lives, it will end up right here on Yo Nostalgia. And for this debut episode, I wanted to tell you guys why I'm really not much of a Seinfeld fan. Of course, I'm talking about the ever-popular sitcom that aired from 1989 to 1998, starring Jerry Seinfeld, who the show is named after, obviously, and is based on. Now, I'm not a big fan of Seinfeld, the show. Jerry Seinfeld, the person, I don't have a problem with. He seems like a nice, funny guy. I mean, he's a comedian, so technically he is supposed to be funny. But when it came to the show and its premise and just the gags, I didn't get it. Maybe I was too young to appreciate the show and its formula and its comedy. The show went on the air the year I was born, and it went off the air when I was about 9 or so. So I guess I was too young to appreciate it. I don't know, like I said. But even though it was massively popular and is still massively popular, here we are 22 years after its cancellation and it's off the air and it's still in syndication and in reruns, I still don't get it. I still don't find it that funny. Is there something wrong with me? I don't know. I didn't find it that funny. I mean, you had Jason Alexander, Mike Richards, Jerry Seinfeld, Wayne Knight. There were so many people involved, and maybe I should have latched onto it because I am a fan of sitcoms from that era, but Seinfeld is just one of those shows where I'm not rushing to a TV set to watch it, right? I'm not like, oh my God, I have to watch this show. And even as I was growing up as a kid, when it was first on the air on NBC, it wasn't something that I would run to. It's like, okay, I'd rather watch something else, you know? And to this day, keep in mind, I'm 30, I'm going to be 31 this year. It's not something that is my bag. It's not something that I enjoy. It's not something that I find funny. I hate to say that, even though it's massively popular. It's super popular, okay? It's not something that I find hilarious. It's not going to make me bust a gut. And I've tried to watch the show over the years. It's just not something where I can say, this is one of the greatest shows that I've ever seen. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my sense of humor. I don't know. I don't find it funny. It's not something that is really for me. Yes, there were moments, but there were so few and far between for me. The George Costanza character played by Jason Alexander. Loved it. Jerry had his moments. Julia Louis-Dreyfus had her moments as well. I think the thing for me was Mike Richards. I mean, I don't want to get into basically how he retired from comedy and how his career ended, but I really didn't find the Kramer character that funny. I mean, aside from that lobster shirt that he would wear, because that is something that I would throw on, and it would be something in my wardrobe, I didn't really find the Kramer character all that funny. I more so found Kramer to be this annoying little gnat fly character who I just really wanted to get off my screen and really just punch him in the face. I didn't find him that funny. It's just, I couldn't relate to the show. Okay, it's basically what I'm saying, and that Kramer character especially, it just drove me nuts every time he would walk into a scene, and it's like, this guy looks ridiculous, and I really can't get a laugh. I can't find him that funny. It's starting to drive me nuts. I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to go somewhere else. I don't know why. Don't ask me. it's just, I didn't find it funny. And everybody's saying, well, like, the way this episode and the debut of this show came about is I posted a question in a nostalgia group that I belong to on Facebook saying, basically the question was, name a popular TV show from the 80s or the 90s, I can't remember, that is and was super popular in its heyday and maybe still be popular now that you weren't really a fan of. I said Seinfeld. I posted a picture of the main cast, and that was basically my answer to my own question. People got angry at me, okay? They got angry at me. They were keyboard angry. They were internet angry. They got angry because they're like, Seinfeld's the best. It's one of the greatest shows of all time. Yeah, well, I didn't find it that funny, okay? Maybe it's Jerry Seinfeld's, comedic timing or sense of humor. I didn't get his jokes. I didn't get his humor. But Kramer, Mike Richards, that character just drove me up the wall. I mean, Elaine, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, sure, fine, had her moments. But the Kramer character drove me up the wall. Okay? But I know, people got angry at me. Because you know how when it comes to, like, reactions on Facebook, you can, thumbs up, and then there's those different sort of ways that you can react, like either the open-faced jaw with the wow, or you can laugh, and then there's, that angry mad face reaction to the post if you don't want to leave a comment. But I didn't find Seinfeld that funny. I still don't to this day, and I've tried to watch the show over the years, and I can't. I can't sit down in front of a TV, even if it's on like Amazon Prime or, one of the streaming services like Netflix. I can't. It's not something I want to watch. It's just, I've tried in the 22 years since it's been off the air, because it's still syndicated everywhere, right? Because it did have a 9-season run, and I tried as a kid to get into it when it was first on the air, but I just couldn't bring myself to get into the show because there's nothing I really connected with. I don't think. I didn't really find it that funny. And, I post that question on Facebook, like, name a popular show that was popular in its heyday and may still be popular now that you're not really a fan of. I say Seinfeld, people got angry. They got physically mad. I'm sure when they were typing those angry comments, I'm sure they got physically mad. When they reacted to that post, I'm sure they got physically mad, okay? But that's just my opinion. I didn't find that show that funny. I still don't find that show that funny. I don't find... Here's another super popular show that ended recently. I don't find The Big Bang Theory that funny. I didn't find How I Met Your Mother that funny. And it's just... I don't find Seinfeld that funny. The show itself, I don't find it that funny. Jerry Seinfeld seems like a decent guy. I mean, comedians in cars getting coffee, sure. But I just didn't find the show that funny. Maybe I didn't understand it as much. Maybe I was too young to appreciate it. I really just didn't find it that funny. Okay? I've tried over the years to get into the show. I just couldn't. And, I guess shame on me. But I can't be I know I'm not the only one that didn't find Seinfeld that funny. Because there were people in that group, or in the groups that I posted that in, agreeing with me that Seinfeld wasn't that funny. Now, there are some people that didn't like Friends. That's their deal. I liked Friends, right? But if you don't like something, that's not cause to get mad at somebody for it. Okay? People physically got angry at me. That's their business. That's their issues. Got nothing to do with me. But I'm just saying, I didn't find Seinfeld that funny, and somebody asked me, well, what do you think of Curb Your Enthusiasm? And I know that they're both from the mind of, like, Larry David was instrumental in Seinfeld, also with Curb Your Enthusiasm, because it's basically, the same premise, and it's like the same person behind both, aside from Jerry in Seinfeld. But with Curb Your Enthusiasm, you know what? I enjoyed Curb Your Enthusiasm, not like to the point where I could say I'm an uber fan and have to watch it. but I enjoyed it. Maybe because I was older. Okay, maybe because I had matured a little more, slightly. But when it came to Seinfeld, and when it still comes to Seinfeld, I don't find it that funny. Okay? It's just my opinion. That's all I'm saying. I don't find Seinfeld that funny. Just, again, maybe because I was too young to appreciate it. I just didn't get the humor. And not to mention, like I said several times, the Kramer character. Now, I'm not getting into Mike Richards and how his career ended, basically. But the Kramer character drove me up a wall. Like, the Kramer character made me angry. Because nobody I knew acted like that. Okay? Nobody I know acts the way the Kramer character does. Even to this day. I mean, and don't get me wrong, people have their weird quirks. I know some weird people. I'm sure people think I'm weird. But I've never run into somebody who acts the way the Kramer character does. And I can't, that character, just get it off my TV, because it's not a realistic interpretation of a person that I know or can relate to. Perhaps that's the reason I'm really not a fan of Seinfeld, but maybe just all these reasons wrapped up into one video and one episode. But that's basically why I'm not a fan of Seinfeld. Let me know, are you a fan of Seinfeld, and do you think I'm wrong in not being a fan? Leave your comments, your questions, your opinions, leave them all down below in the comments. Please and thank you. Subscribe here on Leigh Dickey TV. Subscribe to Yo Nostalgia on your favorite podcast app and player of choice, as well as my official website, LeighTDickey.com. But this wraps up the debut of Yo Nostalgia, your pop culture time-traveling trip. Now available on your favorite podcast app and player of choice, as well as my official website, LeighTDickey.com. New episodes are available every other Tuesday. Alright, but for the first episode of Yo Nostalgia, Leigh Dickey TV, LeighTDickey.com. I've been Leigh Dickey. This has been Yo Nostalgia, and we will see you all and talk to you all in 2 weeks with another episode of Yo Nostalgia. Alright, I'm Leigh Dickey, and I'm signing off. Peace!